Hello. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. Maybe I need to move this a little bit closer. I don't know. I'm not sure about this microphone. It may be a little too far away. Let's see. I have a little weirder setup today, so I'm trying to work out how I want to do this perfectly. Hello, welcome to my stream. This is Countertop Commander, and I do Commander stuff. Normally on Sundays, I'm doing a casual game where I play three to four different decks that are all kind of beginner decks, and kind of show how to play Magic. Well, ever so often I want to try to do deck building to kind of show off how one might go around doing deck building, give some tips that I've learned over the many years of making decks and building decks. And I'm not an expert at all. There's a lot of people who are very, very analytical about it, and I'm a little more free-spirited probably. But then so next week we'll probably do a game. Last week we did a game, so this week we're doing some deck building, and then on Wednesday or Thursday, I'll do more of a whatever decks I want to play type of game. So today I wanted to try to do some deck building with Chromium, the mutable. I don't know if I'm actually going to get through with it. And I'm not even sure that this is going to be the build that I settle on necessarily. The commander might change. I do want to build something with one of the Chromiums, but my problem is that they're kind of they're not really build around a bowl necessarily. So I guess we'll see how that works out. What I did have with Chromium before was a kind of solar flare build, which is, I guess, the old term for kind of mid-range reanimator. It was okay, but it was pretty much your stereotypical reanimator build, and I have a bunch of reanimator decks. So Aristocrats is really a build that I don't have anything of, or any deck representing it. So I think I want to try to build something with that and see how it goes. So I do have a lot of cards set out here. This is one pile, and then we have another pile here. This is a lot of cards to go through, so I obviously have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm basically I know some of the kind of prerequisites for a Aristocrats build. It's been a long time since I built anything that was Aristocrats, and I tend to shy away from Orsov Aristocrats, generally speaking, because I find it kind of overdone a little bit, and so I'm hoping that adding a blue element to this will make it a little bit more interesting to me, because there's so many. Essentially for quite some time, the OG Teza card from the original Ravnica set, just way long ago, Ravnica block, I should say. She was basically the only Orsov build that was viable at all, in the sense that you could build other Orsov decks. They just wouldn't really perform. You would kind of sit there and you wouldn't have enough mana to do anything, and you really wouldn't have any sort of identity. Some people did a kind of, I'm trying to think, there is a Orsov legend that you can pay 2 life. So some people tried to do some wacky builds where you'd drain your entire life pool and then trade life totals with somebody else. And just, it didn't really work out. So that's kind of the history behind why I haven't done it. It's just that for so long that was the only Orsov deck you could build reasonably, and it's still in a lot of ways one of the few valid, consistently valid Orsov builds you can do. So that is why I don't have an Orsov Aristocrats deck, and that's why I haven't built one for a while now. So let's see if we can't, get something that looks like it and doesn't end up being basically rebuilding Reanimator all over again, because I definitely love Reanimator as a deck. But generally, so okay, let's go ahead and kind of think about this. overall, a lot of the times when you're doing deck building, you want to take whatever cards you're going to use, and in this case, I'm doing it with actual physical cards that I pulled from the cards that I own. So it may be different for you when you're doing this. You may be building from Architect, or you may be building or otherwise just completely online based on somebody else's deck list that you've seen. I'm kind of building without any deck list in mind. I haven't gone and looked up what all of the aristocrat builds are. So I'm just going with what I have. And when you're doing it like this, it's a really good idea to kind of separate the cards into the different piles depending upon their usage. And so you kind of want to have in mind a number of, you want to have in mind an idea of the important parts of a deck, and it's almost always going to include card draw, ramp, and removal, and then the other one, generally some kind of win condition. And that win condition may be entirely just your commander. In this case, our commander's kind of on the edge. It's going to be okay for some reanimation related stuff if we need to. But generally, those are sort of your 4 key columns groups that you want to put everything into. And then after that, it's sort of, like if you have utility cards, or if there's multiple different parts to your win condition, because it may be that your win condition is really narrow, and then you have a bunch of other cards to support it that have different functions. Or like with a toolbox deck, then you're going to have a bunch of different, like sections of, okay, this part of the toolbox is used for these things, and this part of the toolbox is used for these other things. So you may have a bunch of different groups, but the idea being that when you start off, and so I don't really have anything set aside right now to be able to write on. With commander decks, since we do exactly 100 cards, you want to probably start out with a 60-40 split on non-land cards and land cards. In this case, we're probably going to go down to 38 lands, just because we're going to have some ramp spells. You can see one right here. This is a ramp spell. So, there are different methods on determining how many lands to take out for how much ramp cards you're going to use or run. And it also depends on whether you want a casual deck or a competitive deck. So if you're playing really competitive, you're going to go for a lot fewer lands. You could be going down to 36 or even 30 lands or something like that, something crazy. Just depending upon what kind of competitive build you're looking for. Whereas since I'm doing a little bit more casual and my commander is a little bit higher on the cost side, I'm probably going to go a little bit higher on the lands, and 40 is a good place to start. And like I said, we'll probably go down to 38 once we figure out what we really have, and if our mana curve is really low, then we may go a little lower. But we're almost certainly not going to go lower than 36 lands. I just can't see it. I have bad luck with drawing lands, so there's a good chance we're not ever going to go much lower than that. There's, I think, only really one or two decks that I currently have that kind of a low land count, and I think goblins, mono red goblins, are the only ones. So that gives us sort of a framework for what we want to build within, which means that if we do 60 cards, that's going to be approximately 6 different groups of 10 gets us there. So we don't want to generally, we may not end up having 10 ramp cards. We're probably almost certainly not going to. But if we aim for 6 groups of 10, then we're going to do pretty well starting out. And then we can move from there based on what I end up refinding as I'm going through here. Because I think I already know something that I may want to avoid doing, and I'll probably point it out just so that I point out a good outlet for doing aristocrats, but I if I have enough cards to steer away from it, then I may just stay away from a particular type of Aristocrats build. So let me go ahead and set that aside. This is the old Chromium, but we don't really want to do that. Let's see. So Migratory Route, that's an interesting card as far as what pile it goes into. And I think this is going to go into our... I think this needs to go into a group we'll just name Tokens, so that we know we may be doing sort of an aristocrat build that relies on making a lot of tokens. So I want to do that. Soul Herder is really a utility card, so let me move these piles away. I'm going to move them out of the way just so that we can get more space to make groups here. So utility we want way down at the end because we're not sure what we're going to use for it, but this is a card, it blinks a creature every turn, and that's going to be really good with Aristocrats. So to explain, I should explain actually what Aristocrats is. The sort of premise with Aristocrats is that you're using a lot of low-cost creatures that trigger, enter the battlefield, and leave the battlefield effects. Primarily, one of the biggest ones, well, it's named after two different cards. One of them is Falcon Wrath Aristocrat, I believe, and it's like a 4-cost flying vampire that has... you can sack a creature, and if it's human, well, it's like you sack a creature to make it indestructible, and then if that sacked creature is a human, then the aristocrat gets a +1/+1 counter. So there are two different aristocrats that sacrifice creatures to get effects, and so the idea was that you would play creatures and then sacrifice them to take advantage of that sacrifice effect, the kind of unrestricted sacrifice effect. Now, Falcon Wrath Aristocrat is in black-red, so we're not going to be using it, but we will be using... Oh, man. I am spacing some of the names here. Blood Artist, that's what it is. So there's a card called Blood Artist that whenever a creature dies, we gain a life and each opponent loses a life. So we're going to be doing stuff like that. We're going to be using creatures like that to take advantage of. Okay. So with that in mind, let's keep going. So this is a card draw effect, so that's going to be pretty high, but I don't know. Let's go and stick it in the middle. So I think what we're going to do is we'll do sort of ramp, card draw, and removal kind of here in the middle. We'll do win conditions up on this side, on the left side, and then we'll do cards that don't really fit any of those that are kind of utility or otherwise we'll put down here. In fact, let me go ahead and put Chromium down there. It's not really utility, but I guess maybe right here. So reanimation is probably a utility effect. That's where we're going to put it for now. Both of those are utility. This is card draw, reanimation. This is utility as well. It's a card that gets us free creatures by turning the top of our library into creatures, essentially. So that could go really well with the effects that we're going to try to do with having creatures come into play and leave play. But, you know, it's kind of a costly card. It's not something that we're going to necessarily want to rely on heavily as our main effect. So removal, utility, that stuff. This is card draw. Let's see, tokens over here. This is card draw. Gosh, this is ramp, and also sort of, so there's going to be a ton of cards that have dual effects or could go into two different groups, and it's probably going to be mainly what is the main purpose of the card. So in this case, Soldavi Adonate. It sacrifices creatures, specifically black or artifact creatures, to add mana to our mana pool. So it does technically kind of go into what we're wanting to do, is having the ability to sacrifice creatures to do things. To get specific effects. But in this case, Soldavi Adonate only sacrifices one creature a turn, each turn cycle, really. So its sacrifice effect isn't as strong as its add mana effect, so that's why we're putting it there for now. Card draw. This is primarily card draw. Reanimation, mana. Let's see. This is sort of that. We're going to have a ton of reanimation. I'm going to put Spellskite in removal. It's not really removal, but it's kind of close enough that it's probably okay to put in there. We do have access to a ton of removal, though. These are a lot of these are going to have been pulled from the previous Chromium build that I had. And part of the reason why I want to do reanimation stuff, or possibly have it, is stuff like this Apprentice Necromancer, because he has, pay a black, sacrifice him to return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield, and that creature gains haste, and then at the beginning of the next end step, you sacrifice it again. So it seems like that could be really, really strong in being able to get multiple come into play and leave play effects. So, let's see, this is mana, this is removal. Lots of the removals. This is tokens. Over here, I guess that's sort of utility. I mean, that's playing into other things. So, let's see, sacrifice. Okay, so this is tokens as well. Card draw. Although, this is going to be really, really weak card draw, unfortunately. So, I don't know. We'll see. So, here's this is one of the cards that kind of drew me into maybe considering doing this. So this is a zombie card that cares about zombies, and it makes more zombie tokens that can then be used to make more zombies. So this is kind of why I thought maybe I would include this card, but my problem is that I already have 2 different zombie decks, and I really don't want to build another zombie deck. So we're putting it over here, but there's a pretty high chance that we're just going to pull it all out later. Utilities. So let's keep going. And ramp. This is another cool reanimation stuff, because this one does a full reanimation each turn. Let's see. Yeah, a full free reanimation each turn. So we can use this to make copies of creatures that then will have effects that we can make use of again if we need to. So I don't know. It seems like there's a pretty good chance that we'll want that. Now this effect, I think, does need to go up here, because even though it's sort of utility, but its main purpose here is that, it can really go into 3 different ones. So it supports our aristocratic strategy. So it's kind of utility, but it adds mana, so it could go here. I think its primary use, though, is going to be to enable our win conditions, or be able to enable our win conditions. So we're putting it up here for now. Ramp, removal, removal, lots of the removals. So, well, let's put that in ramp. That's utility. Okay, the other part of a strategy that we could rely on heavily is artifacts. So we're going to have a new category up here for artifacts. I know we have like a ton of different things out right now. We'll get them down. We'll get it down later. Let's see. I think this is right there. Let me think about this. Maybe like that? I don't know. I don't always know. Here's more. Oh, wait. Actually, this is right there. So these are creatures that return themselves from the graveyard for free, essentially. So we do want them to be up at the top and less in the utility spot. Let's see. Do we have any more? Did we miss one of those? I don't know. I may have screwed that up. Okay, no, we didn't. Okay, but this is a zombie. So this is a return guy. Let's see. Card draws and stuffs. Ramp. There's more of that. It's down there. Counterspell. So still Hellkite arguably could probably go into removal, but I think we want it more down here to symbolize that it's really just like an add-in. If we didn't have other removal, then we would look into playing Seal Hellkite, but it doesn't really go into any part of our strategy whatsoever. It really just fits into a removal spot, which we would be better utilized by a counterspell or something like that, most likely. It was in there because of reanimation stuff from Solar Flare. Let's see. I guess card draw for that. Some of these are kind of card draw, and some of them aren't quite exactly card draw. Like this one, Diabolic Intent, isn't really card draw, but it card search, so it's sort of kind of in the same category. Not really, but close enough. Close enough for me. There's that. Let's see. Do we even want this? I think we're going to go and preemptively take this out because this deals with dragon cards specifically, and that Solar Flare deck had a lot of dragons in it. I don't think it's as useful now as it once was, so I'm going to go ahead and say no on that for sure. Let's see, over here, reanimation. I guess this is all removal stuff. This is that one. This is token making. I guess those are token making stuff. I don't know why I would use that card. I'm going to go ahead and take it out. This one definitely, this is one that we're absolutely going to have in. Falconwrath Noble. Whenever it or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So that's definitely like our core strategy, really, is that. I'm trying to keep these piles stay. Tokens. Oh wait, is that 2 different breeding pits? Yeah, let's go and use the older one, the cooler looking one. Sacrifice, snackifice, snacrificing. Yeah, sacrifice. Oh, so let's see. I guess those together, I guess, makes sense with that. This is ramp. This. Zombies over here. I do need to see if this one is going to be useful at all. I kind of am afraid it's not going to be, but you know, who knows. Tokens. See, blood artist right there. That's it. That's the one of the best aristocrat cards. I guess it's target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life, but even still. Yeah, this is more tokens. Card draw. Ramp. Card draw. Yeah, I think that makes sense going there. Tokens. Where's that? No, that's just regular sacrifice. Okay. We're actually getting through these pretty quickly. I guess I am used to doing this, so maybe it makes it a little bit quicker for me, but we're definitely going to have a lot of card choices here that we want to go through. Ugh. Not super looking forward to that. There's a lot here. It's a ton of cards to get through. Okay. I guess this is technically tokens. Oh, zombie, that's why. I was like, why do I have that in here? Oh, it says zombie on it. Of course. Of course. This goes there. See, there's a lot of stuff in here I'm not like 100% sure about. See, this is sort of tokens, but I'm afraid that that's not going to mean anything later on. I guess removal. Am I kind of like... I suppose these are sort of removal stuff that's not really removal. Let's do that. Reanimation. This is... So there are a number of these other ones, like Anointer Priest and Healer of the Pride, which do have it so that whenever a creature enters the battlefield, something happens. But in this case, it's just gaining life, and I don't know that we're going to really be taking advantage of that, unfortunately. So I'm kind of like less than inclined to keep them, but it may be that we end up using them. I don't know. Lots of token creation stuff. Maybe? I don't know. Oh, artifact. Card draw. Tokens. Not token. Not token. That's a weird one. This is a really weird one. That's a weird effect, but let's see. Draw cards. So there. Actually, did we already see a Morbid Curiosity quite some time ago? Yeah, we have two different Morbid Curiosities here, so let's take one of them out and leave the other one in. This is tokens. This is not tokens. Tokens. This is like win condition by itself. Remove. No, wait, this isn't removal. But this is tokens. This is a token. Returns. Removals. Let's see. I need to see about this. I'm not sure that we have enough enchantments to really make use of this. I'm kind of thinking about taking it out, but I'm not sure really where to put it, unfortunately. I guess we'll see about that one. Do this, counterspell. That. Oh, mirror weave. That's going to be hilarious if we actually use it. Card draw. I guess that actually... Does that fit removal, I guess? Sort of. Let's see. Sacrifice? Snacrifice? Oh, there we go. There's our Fleshback Marauder, so... Oh, wait. Am I doing things weird here? This is actually card draw. Ignore me. Let's see. 4 more card types. Turn, let's see. Maybe. I don't see the point in that. I had it before and now I'm less than inclined. Let's do that. Oh wait, we already had this Zathrid Necromancer, I think. Let me go back through a little bit. Yeah, that we already had this guy, so we don't need another one of him. This is tokens. This is probably tokens. Oh, that's you know, one of our primary effects. Draw card effect. This is removal stuff. Removal. We had more than one bone splinters, I'm pretty sure. I guess, yeah, I suppose the foil one, but I do like the old Shards of Alara one. I don't know. We'll keep that. There we go. Oh, and again, here we have, I remember seeing Immortal Servitude, so let's take that out. I guess over there. Removals. I suppose this is sort of a card draw. Let's see, over here, more recursion, more recursion. I'm not sure about that one. Shroom. Oh, there he goes. Cruel Celebrant. That's a main one. That's absolutely going in. We did have Tideholder Scholar already, but I'm actually going to pull both of them out now that I think about it. They can be okay. I don't know. I guess, yeah, sort of they can be used to really gank somebody. I guess I'll leave one in case we do enough like small type recursion stuff, because essentially what you can do is you can put Tidehollow Scholar into play and then immediately sacrifice him so that you can permanently exile a card from a player's hand. So in a sense that makes some amount of sense. Thopter Foundry, zombie, copy effect, and I don't... Action Rider. This is sacrifice something or other, maybe. Sacrifice a creature. It's a card. I guess if I find a place for it, that might be fun. Let's see, tokens. Copy. Wow, we have like a huge... This is going to be a terrible pile to go through. That's probably going to be the last one, I'm guessing. I guess this actually goes more into artifacts. Because some of these are like, when they come into play, they untap something, basically. But I don't know if that's necessarily helpful to us. Card draw? Yeah. This is... sort of... Ugh. Ugh. Having things that come into play and have an effect can be good, but I don't know if it's good enough. I don't know if we're going to be, you know, like bringing things back quickly enough to make real big use of it, so... I don't know that we need that. Card draw. Recursion. Card draw. Oh, crap. Why do I do this? That's ramp. I swear I'm not bad at this. Yeah, we want that guy. Tokens. Enduring Renewal is another one that's sort of like, well, if we get enough recursion in the deck, then stuff like Recurring Renewal can actually be good, because we play with our hand revealed, and if we draw a card and it's a creature card, we have to discard it immediately. So we do have to get, if we play a lot of creatures, then we're going to have effects that bring creatures back from the graveyard so we can actually get those cards back, because otherwise we just don't draw any cards. Yeah. So it's a harsh one to use, I think. This is removal. These guys over here. Well, really, actually, I think I want to put it over here. It is removal, as so is Ashen Rider, but since we're not really aiming to do Reanimator, then they have a lot less value. Sacrifice. I think we have a lot of sacrifice things. I need to go back through there. This is destroy a creature. Oh. I don't know. Sacrifice an artifact, artifact, artifact. That's a zombie. This is sacrifice anything. Card draw. Let's see. Basil Thrall. Do we have Blood Vassal, Blood Pet, and Basil Thrall? Nice. Actually, we do have 3 different sacrifice to add mana things. Okay. Huh. I swore that I pulled too many of those once and I was going to have to pull them out later. This is tokens. This is ramp. That. I don't know. And we do have Slum Reaper already, I believe. Yeah, we already have one of those. So we can put that one back. We're actually almost all the way through this. Let's see, that's... Cartel Aristocrat? Do we... Wait. Cruel Celebrant. Okay, yeah. We want this one. We do want the thing right there. Here we go. Right here. Do that. Mortis Strider. Okay, this is really counter spell. This goes over here. Do we have Mortis Strider already? Yes, we do. We do. Take that one out. If we take it out, we're obviously done, right? That's it. We don't have to go through anymore. I guess that's more there. We already had a Mole Drifter way early on. This does do an interesting effect that we may want. This is about artifacts. Draw 2 cards. Over here, more artifacts. Over here. I think actually we do already have this called the Death Dweller somewhere in here. Boop-a-doo, ba-doo, ba-doo. Right there. There you go. So we can take this one out. Life gain. Not great. This is create tokens, so I guess sort of, but I don't know that it really fits anything else that we're doing. Take that out. Okay. This is awful. This is awful. I'm going to set these all the way aside. We're not going to look at them right now. I'm not super, 100% pleased with most of these, unfortunately. And this is whenever a creature token, so it doesn't even ick. That's icky. I mean, these would be fine for a deck that was making use of the life gain, so I'm almost convinced not to use it. Okay, so let's go and talk about zombies real quick and why I'm probably going to take them out. I mean, other than just because of the fact I have 2 zombie decks, but basically each of the zombie decks also hinge off of using Gravecrawler, which is what we would do with it, essentially. And it's like, yes, there is a bunch of these cards that would be really good to use that have, sacrifice effects or, Wayward Servant whenever a zombie enters the battlefield, or, yeah, whenever another zombie enters the battlefield, somebody loses life, you gain life, and Diagraph Captain whenever another zombie you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life. So we can definitely make use of this guy, but like I said, both the zombie decks kind of hinge on it. So I'm kind of inclined to, unless we're just absolutely desperate for those effects, we're going to set those aside. Because we do need a way to get to dealing 40 damage, essentially, or making each of our opponents lose 40 life. And that's a lot of one things dying over and over again. Which is also sort of why we have Chromium, I think. Because Chromium, the cool thing about Chromium is he does have this discard effect, so we can make use of some recursion shenanigan stuff. But he's also a 7/7 flyer. I mean, there's no way around it. He 3 hits anybody. That's a lot of attacks, but in a pinch, it is a kind of plan B that we can still use if we need to. So I'm definitely inclined to keep him around. So we want probably as many of these effects right here, this pile, as we can get. But I think it's going to be easier to just consider what these 3 piles in the middle that we want a bunch of these effects. And that'll be essentially, this could end up being about half of our deck, or half of the non-lane cards in our deck. Because we're looking at 62 cards, so if 30 of them are in this pile, then we'll be really set on filling it in with essentially just win condition. Which I did notice in my artifacts I'd intended to pull. So I do have, what is it? Thopter Foundry. The other piece to it, apparently I didn't grab out of my cards, so we may be avoiding the artifact route of doing things, but I think we are going to want to consider finding the Sword of the Meek that I have somewhere and doing Sword of the Meek and Thopter Foundry to really, oh, sorry, I'm trying to think. My brain. Little Herbert. That essentially can help make infinite creatures, which means infinite come into play and leave play type stuff. So I guess there is one more part of that. Krark Clan Ironworks is sort of the other part of that combo. Which would mean that it's not really, I don't know, does it make it an artifact deck if that's sort of our combo win? I don't know. That's why I'm also sort of hesitating on artifacts, because I do have a lot of artifact decks as well, and I don't necessarily want another one of those. I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of getting distracted here. This is what we're focusing on, is the ramp first. Let's look at ramp, and then we can move on to the rest of this stuff. Actually, let me do this. I'll move this stuff over here to give us a little bit more space to work with. Organize this a little better. Here we go. So we have some creature stuff, and we have some why is this? This is a card draw. Go away. Here's an instant. Here's a bunch of creature effects. Instance. This gets us actually land, so that's really good. Here's some artifact ramp. Culling the Weak. Oh, wait, we have 2 Culling the Weaks. Okay, well, that's an easy to get rid of. Let's see. We do have this Stormscape Familiar, which reduces the cost of white and black spells by 1. So that's not too bad. That's actually pretty good, because we will have a lot of white and black spells. Like, blue is probably going to be the color that we have the least amount of when we build this, and it's not necessarily on purpose. I'm going to try to get a few blue cards into the deck, but there's a chance that I don't know. I mean, there's a good chance that we'll be heavily Orsov anyway, even though I don't necessarily want to be. Let's think about this. So I do really like the thought of the Thralls here. Oh, Costly Plunder is more card draw. I'm not stupid, I swear. Tithe is one that we absolutely want. I think that the Solemn Simulacrum is probably really good. Let's see. I mean, sort of Soul Ring and Orsov's Signet are always going to be really good. Let's go and put this in here. I don't really like Nirkana Revenant is so high cost that it's really upper end ramp, like sort of end game ramp. So I'm not sure it's in what we want to see here. So I'm going to go and take it out. Cryptghast is really, really good. Although, do we have a lot of swamps? Or are we going to have a lot of swamps, I should say? I suppose, yes. It being a creature is very helpful, that's for sure. Self-sacrificing creatures. Culling the Weak is really, really strong. I've always wanted to play Song of the Damned. We are going to have a lot of creatures in our graveyard, so let's go ahead and put it. So let's see, we have 5 cards, and so we have 2 more spaces, really, realistically. So I'm thinking these 8 that we have down here are for 100% sure. I do want to lean a little... I naturally want to lean more towards artifacts because I'm used to playing artifacts, and I really don't know how these guys up here are going to do, but maybe that's sort of the case where we go ahead and consider playing them anyway because of that, because we don't know how good they're going to do. Like, they could be really bad, and we don't necessarily need a ton of ramp. Commander Sphere is mana fixing, along with potential card draw. I don't know. Let's see. So let's go ahead and say, well, we only have 2 spots. So let me think about this. This one is you have to tap and sacrifice it, but it costs 1 less than Blood Vassal, which sacrifices at instant speed without haste. So let's go and do Blood Vassal. I want a deck with Soldalvi Adnate, really, is what it's going to boil down to. So let's go and take these cards out. These are all cards that, like, I do want to play with, but I think we're going to leave them out for now. So that leaves us with these 10 cards, and we'll go ahead and say that that pile is more or less complete now. Or at least we can move past the first draft of it. So let's go ahead and get into the card draw now that I'm actually at card draw instead of pretending to be in card draw. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to separate it into, these are like instant sorcery stuff. This is going to be enchantments, and then this is creature-based things. Let's do actually search effects all the way down at the end. Keep them out a little bit. Well, that's a creature enchantment. Let's see, that's a search effect. Singular effects, enchantment. Creature. Loyal Drake, I want you, but our commander is 7 cost. You're not going to see the light of day. That's what it's going to come down to. Oh wait, Bones for Blood is over here. Creature. Artifact is, I mean, enchantment. I said enchantments, it's really static effects that aren't creatures. And then these last 2. Okay. So, for sure out of these middle ones, I think that Vampiric Rites and Infernal Tribute are technically the strongest ones. They have sacrifice something, draw a card. They do cost mana, though, so that's unfortunate. But we could get around that with Dark Tutelage, because so we don't have to pay a cost for that. I'm going to say with the rest of these ones, I'm not really pleased with their effects. Like this one is pay a life, draw a card, then discard a card. I don't know how much of the recursion that we're going to do, so I'm less than inclined. I don't know. I'm a little less inclined to play it. Mystic Remora is always a really, really strong one, but I don't know. I guess we're not playing a bunch of high cost stuff. It could arguably be really strong. So maybe it makes sense. I don't know. I guess we'll leave that to the end, just in case. But the rest of these, I think, can go into the bin. I don't want too many of these search effects, but at the same time, let's go and do Diabolic Intent, and we'll take out the Vampiric Tutor. Because I'd rather just draw straight cards. Plus, it makes it a little bit nicer on the satisfaction side, like playing against other people. If you play a bunch of search effects, then you're pretty much just digging for a specific combo and then winning the game. And I try to lean away from that a little bit, at least. So let me think about that. Oh, and that's also, I guess, technically Mausoleum Secrets are a similar way, so we'll take that out as well. Let's see. Oh, this is Recursion. I don't know why I thought that was card draw for some reason. Huh. Converted mana cost of the card. I'm going to take that one out. Perilous Research seems really, really good. Painful Truths I'm also kind of attached to because we'll get 3 cards out of it. We'll pay 3 life and draw 3 cards. I always kind of liked Impulse, but maybe we need to see about... Let's do these 2, and we'll leave those alone for now, because then that puts us into 4 more cards, and we may want to just make them all creatures, unfortunately. I say unfortunately, I just mean, like... It may be smarter to do creatures here because we're going to be a kind of creature-heavy deck. So, River Kelpie, whenever it or another permanent is put into play from the graveyard, draw a card. So this one's actually going to be good without recursion stuff because we have a lot of small creatures that return themselves. So I think that we can play this one safely. Baleful Strix is a low effect. So, I don't know. Let's see. What else do we have here? We do have Duskmantle Seer. But I don't know that is a great card for us. We will have low costs generally, but I don't know. It's hard for me to say because in a deck like this, we're not going to take a lot of damage. We're almost certainly not going to take a ton of damage because we won't have that many cards in here that are high cost. So we're unlikely to really care about how much mana or how much life we lose from this, whereas other people could end up losing a ton of life from this. I don't know, maybe we throw it in anyway. Let's just do a little bit of a fun build here. We don't know how good it's going to be. It's probably going to be terrible, but maybe it could be good. Let's see. Murder of Crows is about creatures dying, so that could be good. Smothering Abomination. Whenever we're forced to sacrifice a creature, but whenever we do, we draw a card. These are all could be really strong cards, honestly. And Baleful Strix is... Let's go and put Baleful Strix under our artifact category. So let's see. So that we don't necessarily lose it. It still hangs around, kind of. Yeah, let's go ahead and say this. Do we want anything else on this side? I don't think so. It's kind of... Champion of Wits was another one that I was kind of thinking might be fun to use in this kind of build, because it does draws cards and then it can bring itself back. So It's like double the effect, but its secondary effect is a 7 cost effect. So if we're paying for that just to draw 4 cards and discard 2 cards, we could also be playing Chromium. So I don't know. Let's go and do this. We'll say this is our 10 card draw for now, and this is so many cards to get rid of, but we'll put them all to the side anyway. See, we've already gotten rid of this many cards. We're doing good. We may get done by next week. Okay, this one we're not going to separate into creatures. We're going to separate into what it gets rid of, essentially, or how it gets rid of it. So, like, counterspells could get rid of anything, so we'll put all of the counterspell cards together into one pile. A little bit of tea there. So this is creature removal, creature. This is this is a counterspell. Creature removal. This is sort of a counterspell. Let's see, enchantments. That's a good one. This is graveyards. This is counterspell. These are creatures, enchantments. This is counterspell. Yeah. This is creature. Wait, do we have multiple Innocent Bloods already? No, okay, it was Bone Splinter. That's what it was. Okay. This is not, I mean, I don't know. This really deserves to be somewhere else. Yeah, I'm gonna just take this out. It was a throw-in just for a second, but I think it's better if we just take it out. Removal. This is exile anything, so that's pretty good. That's actually really, really good, honestly. Wait, well, let's see. Yeah, I guess it is counter target non-creature spell, so there's a good chance we'll be using it for that. Oh wait, this is more creatures, really? Counterspell. This is creature. Counterspell. Counterspell. This is everything. Wrath effect. Those are good, typically, generally. Wrath effect. Exile anything. Graveyard. Counter, 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 counter. All of the counters with the things in the counters. I guess this is sort of thing. This is kind of counterspell-y, but it's not really counterspell. I don't know. Okay. Part of the thing here. Let's see. We're going to have a lot of creatures. We'll use a lot of life if we do Deadly Tempest. We're going to take that out. I want to start with the Wrath effects, because Wrath effects are really important. So, bury all creatures with power 4 or greater. That seems like a good one. Oh, interesting. Extinction event. Choose odd or even. Exile each creature with converted mana cost of the chosen value. I think maybe not, because we do have sort of a split between even and odd. If we were doing a Sphinx deck, there's the something sovereign that cares about evens and odds. That would be a really good card, but for now I think these three make sense. Retribution of the Meek is power 4 or greater. Citywide Bust is toughness 4 or greater, and then Wave of Reckoning is each creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. So that's probably good. So let's do these. We definitely need at least one graveyard kind of removal type deal. Ouch. Do we want multiple of these? Let's see. Enchantment, enchantment, enchantment. Wispmere, maybe that's good. We'll set all of those aside. We'll set this aside. Now we're like... ick. We have so many cards that we really do sort of want to play. Our removal package here is very, very limited, because we want to even it out and give like some effects to everything, which also means maybe we do more counter spells so that we're still maybe getting our hands on artifact and enchantment removal, but I don't know. That could be bad. That could be bad news. Counterspell. Let's see. Counterspell. This is awkward. This is super awkward, honestly. I don't like not having like any creature removal cards in our deck. That is not where I want. That's not where I want to be with this. Not really. But I'm kind of thinking that it makes the most sense to do more counter spells on this side. Blurk. Not good. Okay, well, I guess we'll set the creatures over to the side again. Being unsure whether or not we're going to play it, and we'll toss the rest of those. So here's 10 removal cards. So what we did was, we did some counter spells. We did at least one card to get rid of graveyard stuff, which is generally taken way more advantage of, and we should probably run more than one. We have 2 different exile target permanent, so these can be really strong. And then we have more or less 4 wrath effects. So I don't know, maybe it works out in the end because we have these wrath effects. We'll see. I don't know that I'm going to play this. I don't know that I'm going to play this deck on Wednesday. So it may be a little bit before we see what happens with it, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll get there. Okay. So let's go and do win conditions next, because that's going to be the biggest section of cards that we want. We may have to essentially limit ourselves down to like try to get as many of these in and do like 20 of these, and then do 10 other cards that we pull from these massive piles over here. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how many of these we actually care about. So first, let's go and organize this a little bit. We'll do sacrifice effects. So these are all ours. These are a bunch of sacrifice effects. These are our when something comes into play or leaves play, we'll do something effects. So sacrifice this over here, this right here. These are, and we'll have a pile for things that return to the battlefield. Let's see. Or another enchantment. I think I'm already seeing that we're not going to have too much of that, so I think we can go and take Grim Guardian out for sure. Returns itself. Lots of decent number of returns itself stuff, so that's a good sign. This is actually a token card. This returns itself. This, so I don't know. I'm not completely convinced on the Gravedigger side of things. So the idea for that is that if I have multiple Gravediggers, then I can use them to bring themselves back. Hey Lole, or Lolhi, is that how you want to say it? How's it going? Returns itself, sacrifice stuff. This is actually zombies, so we'll go and take that out. Well, I don't know, Carrion Feeder is still really good though. Let's leave it. 1 cost sacrifice, free sacrifice can be really good. Do you play any Magic? Are you familiar with what I'm doing right here? Because I'm not completely convinced I'm doing this correctly, but we'll see. Actually, that goes right there. This is tokens, really. Return, 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 return. Sacrifice. Okay. Let's see. Oh, cool. So do you play Commander at all? That's pretty much all I play. That's what I'll be doing when I stream most of the time. But do you which format do you play? Oh, okay. Commander. So what kind of Commander decks do you normally have, or how many do you have, I should say? Sorry, just getting a little bit more tea here. There we go. 1 vampire, 1 aristocrat, and 1 token. Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to build an aristocrat deck. It's been a while since I built aristocrats, so I'm not up and up on the most recent sort of innovations with it. I have pretty much just all of the old aristocrat cards, more or less. So I'm getting by with this, and it's going to be just probably the wackiest pseudo aristocrat deck here. So yeah, sanitarium. I think we had. Let's see. I don't know. I'm going to separate these cards out here in a second. Oh, the sanitarium. Yes. I think I read straight past it. No, I guess, did I not pull sanitarium? I know what you're talking about, but now I'm completely, I must have went straight past it when I was pulling cards for this. Oops. Well. There we go. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm just kind of, I don't have a aristocrats deck. I have a bunch of different commander decks. I have about 100 commander decks right now. Good thing you said it right. Let's see. So we want absolutely all of these for sure. Let's see. I'm pretty sure we want Grey Merchant of Asphodel because we're going to get some mega damage out of that. How many of these do we want? Really, I don't... Let me think about this. These two do recur themselves a little bit, but I don't know that they're quite the fit for this deck. It amused me a little bit with Bladewing's Thrall because it returns itself whenever we cast a dragon, or whenever a dragon comes into play, but we're not going to have Chromium come into play too many, so... Oh, it's the only non-precon one? So, let me think. With vampires, was that the Mordu one with... Crap, I can't think of his name. The name is right at the tip of my tongue. Anyway, so the precon that you got, was that a Mordu one with... Innistrad. It's the Innistrad vampire, like head of the house, or head of one of the vampire houses. But if you're talking a new pre-constructed deck, Crimson Vow. Let me think about this. Give me a second. I need to reach my computer. Oh, yeah, so I actually haven't done any of the new cards whatsoever. I play all of the old ones. Basically, everything from Call Time and before, essentially. So I'm actually really, really behind on cards now, new cards. It's sort of a personal thing, but let's see. So we do have a lot of recursion stuff. I think we can take Rotting Rats out. It is kind of a fun use of it, but... See, when it dies, return it to its owner's hand. This one we can pay to bring it back. Tenacious Dead, we can pay to bring it back, although it's not quite as good. Let's see. So we have a bunch that's... Whenever another creature's punished your river, you can pay 1 black to return it from your river to play. Yeah, definitely Nether Trader. Honestly, I kind of want to do all of these if I can. I'm kind of tempted to do just all of these. These are all really good ones. Let me think about this. This is only if it's during your upkeep and it has those 3 creatures above it, and this is another 3 creatures above it. Those ones can be a little bit more difficult to do. Maybe Hack On is the only one. Maybe we go ahead and take Hack On out. Aha, okay. Yeah, so the one that I'm used to is... Let me see. Give me a second here. Markov. That's what it is. Let me do something here just a split second. Let me... This one? Yeah, there you go. So Edgar Markov, that's the one I was thinking of, which was, I'm pretty sure was in a pre-con. Yeah, Commander 2017. So I have that guy, but I don't have any of the Crimson Vow stuff. I'm very familiar with Edgar Markov because he definitely plagued a number of Commander. Well, when he came out, there was a lot of people playing him because he's very, very good. Being able to just cast vampires really quickly and get a bunch of free vampires, super good, super strong. He probably would be one of the better aristocrats builds if I was going to go into Mardu colors, but since I'm not, I'm trying to do Esper colors, but you know, who knows? It may not be that good. All of these, I think. I kind of want all of these. So we're going to go ahead and just take all of it. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 cards. Ouch. Oh, that's a lot of cards. How many of this stuff can we do reasonably? Sacrifice for free. We do want a number of sacrificing for free stuff. Gains protection from the colors of your choice. Let's see. Strixhaven. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Without knowing what colors is that, let me take this card down. I guess I could look it up instead of being lazy. But Strixhaven, yeah, I know about Strixhaven, and I mean, I know the set names, but I don't actually know necessarily the all of the cards in it, right? Okay, blue-green. That's fun. Let's see. Is that the... Well, is that the one... No, let me think. There's a commander, I've seen people use it. I played against it before. And it's like, whenever you create a token, you can make it come into play as a copy of another permanent you control or something. Is that the same pre-con deck that I'm thinking of? Or was that just a card in Strixhaven that I'm thinking about? Okay, it is that one. Okay. So I'm familiar with it because it's been used against me in a couple of games now. But other than that, yeah, I think being able to create those. Let's see, is that enough? Can I get away with that many? Because I'm kind of thinking I need to get away with only a few just pure sacrifice outlets. Let me think about this. I mean, no, man, maybe we just limit it to 5? I think maybe that's what we're going to have to do. I do kind of want Krovikan Horror, but maybe we just get away with this. So how do you feel about your decks? Are they ones that you've wanted to improve? Do you want to have you been wanting to make them less of a less of a pre-con deck and sort of add your own cards to it, or how do you feel about them? I mean, since you have them, presumably you do enjoy playing those commander decks, but you know, do they perform how you want them to perform? Especially the token you want to take others' decks. So do you want your token deck to make copies of your opponent's cards? Is that what you mean? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16, 17, 18. Wait, did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That leaves 8 cards. Ugh. No, it leaves 7 cards because I don't have Chromium in there at all. Ugh. I have not quite done that. I've gotten pretty close. Well, let's see. I've sort of done something like that with a 60 card standard kind of build. Way back. During actually the first Zendikar. Well, I guess it was... it would have been right during the second Ravnica block came out. There's a Mind Grind. I don't know if you recognize that name. Let me bring it up real quick. So there's this mill card right here. So you pay X and you make them reveal cards. And oh no, wait, did I use that one? Oh, maybe I used Mind Funeral primarily. Let me see. Yeah, this one, except it would have been Alara Reborn. There you go. Okay, so it was Zendikar. So what I do is, in a 60 card deck, I would... Sadistic Sacrament is a black card. Well, let me just look it up. I'm shooting a bunch of cards at you. That's misspelled. Oh no, it's not. It's not. Okay, there we go. So it's a 3 black 7 kicker, and you can exile cards from their library, and if you kick it, you can exile 15 cards. So I would choose 15 of their lands and then use Mind Funeral. So by the point that I would get that combo out, they wouldn't have any lands in their deck, and I would mill them because they chose not to play enough lands. Yeah, the first turn. Nice. I have enjoyed mill decks in the past. I have not. I have, I think, just one mill deck right now, and it's a. I don't remember what it's called. I'm trying to remember the Tarkir tribe name. Sultai. There you go. Exis Fractal Bloom. There you go. There you go. That's the copy one. So I have a Sultai mill deck that I essentially make people draw out their whole library. I play a bunch of X spells that have each player draws X cards, and I force everybody to draw out their deck, more or less. So that's the only mill deck that I have right now. But I do find it a fun strategy every once in a while. Okay, so 30 here. We have 22 here. So 52, 53. We have 7 to get us up to 60, and then 2 more. So 9 other cards. Ouch. That's really rough. This is going to be a wacky deck. The commander that you're using allows you to double the amount of tokens you create. Let me see about that. Creature legendary search. I'll have to look it up. Unless you have... well, you did say the names earlier. Adrix. Let me look up Adrix and see what it spits out for me. Oh, Adrix and Nev. I was trying to get it to show up, but it wasn't being nice to me. Yeah, okay. And it protects itself. Yeah, that's not too bad. I'm trying to think of how many token decks, like straight token builds I have, and I don't feel like I have too many of them, but I think this is actually probably going to be a token deck. Let's see. I guess, well, I'm not going to necessarily be casting. Sacrifice a creature. This is sacrifice a creature's power. I don't know about that one. Of the ability of X's activates the first time you create tokens each turn. Yeah. Exit. The Fractal Bloom one is just the first time. I'm trying to remember exactly what they played in their Exus Fractal Bloom deck, but I wouldn't be... well, I know that I know some of the cards that they are probably going to play, but... yeah, Tristani is one of the few that's like really solid token builds. I know, let's see... I want to say the person that was playing Essex had Precursor Golem in their build, which is just incredible. It's freaking crazy incredible is what it is. There's definitely a lot of really good cards in here. I'm just not sure if it's cards that I want or not, which is unfortunate. Let's see. Yes. Oh, wait, let me think. I did have sort of a blue-green... well, it had tokens in it, but it was primarily meant to go with Azuri Claw Progress so that I could get a massive amount of experience counters very, very quickly. And that was the only reason I had tokens in it, essentially. Because it you know, like it makes... what is it? Crap. I'm trying to think. You get an experience counter whenever a creature with power like 2 or less comes into play. And then during combat, you can put a number of +1/+1 counters on a creature other than Azuri Claw Progress equal to the number of experience counters you have. So it was kind of a morph deck plus tokens. Which kind of works. Or often worked, anyway. Do I want... man, Enduring Renewal, you're so good. I want to put you in here, but I don't know if you're going to be good enough. See, that reanimation card could be really, really good. I mean, Gift of Immortality is probably worth putting in here. I don't know, let's see. Oh man, Martyr's Bond. Yeah, that probably needs to go in here. I'm gonna find so many other cards that need to go in here. It's not good. It's very much not good. Hell's Caretaker. Yeah, this one. All of the cards. Let me just go and grab all of the cards if you don't mind. Every single card in this pile over here. That's what I'm going to grab. Ick. Oh no. I'm trying to. Well, anyway, so that Azuri deck did have Hornet's Nest in there because Hornet's Nest. Although it did have some other cards in it. Let me see about it. I think I still have the deck list, but I think I rebuilt part of it, so I don't know if the deck list is up to date anymore. That's the only problem. Let's see. Because I also had Broodhatch Nantuko, which does the same thing as Hornet's Nest. But it's a morph card, which is kind of why I played it ultimately. Hornet's Nest is pretty good when it's used properly. It's super good. Let me think. I'm looking at the list a little bit right now. I was thinking that I had another card that was crazy that did something similar, but I think it may just be the Broodhatch right now. Yeah, actually, a blue-green deck or a green deck that I'm kind of tempted to try to figure out how to build is a chaos deck, actually. I'm trying to find a way to build chaos that doesn't include red, because red is sort of the primary chaos sort of deck, and I'm curious if I can make it happen with those with colors that don't include red, because it wouldn't be something that would that people would expect. Yep. Especially if you can like flash the Hornet's Nest in all of a sudden to block with, that's even better, because then they really don't expect it to happen. Is there... I thought that maybe there was one other card that I might want to pull from here, but I'm spacing on what it was. I mean, Revelark is really good, but is it worth using here? Let me think about this. What was it that I was wanting? I think, Butcher of Malakir. That's it. Although, Havengul Lich, I don't know. That's... So many good cards. So many good cards, so few spots. Mastery of the Unseen, just in case. I don't know, maybe that's where maybe these two are ones that I definitely have to say no to, even though they can be really good with our strategy by making free stuff. Maybe just making pure tokens is better. Okay, so we're going to set aside all of those cards. I think these are maybe the only ones that I want to consider out of that utility pile. So token making, though. Bridge from Below can be really, really good. So can... Let's see. Well, I mean, Genesis Chamber can be really good. So can Doomed Artisan. Pawn of Ulamog, absolutely. We do have a lot of... Oh my... It's not fair. It's not fair to have so many good cards. You're going to be back? Okay. Well, I'll still be here. I'm still going to be playing around with this for a little bit. So... Let me see. I guess since we're not doing artifacts, we can get rid of... We can not worry about anything that has to deal with artifacts. So these are artifacts. Now we do have the option of hinging on humans as well. So how many human stuff do we have? That would be a good question. Because we do have the card way back. These are humans that make one token. I guess actually, since we're not doing artifacts, we can put those away. So these are warriors. Are they human though? I do not remember. Let's see. Instant warrior. And white. Let's go ahead and look for that real quick. Yeah, they're just regular warriors, so I don't know. I don't know how good that's going to be. Sorry, let me think about this. Human, 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 human. Let's get rid of that. See, Zathrid Necromancer makes tokens whenever humans die. So, Aristocrat. Let's take out the morphing stuff some more. Let's not do Tombstone Stairwell. Although, I mean, it's so good, though. It's so good. There's so many good cards here. Light Spirit. These make humans. Absolutely could do humans. This is everything, though. Whenever you cast a creature spell, I guess we may not be casting a ton of creature spells, so maybe it's okay if we don't put that in there. Hey, you're back. Yeah, I'm realizing that I have a bit of a card problem here. I'm supposed to somehow pick like 9 cards out of all of this, which almost certainly is not going to happen. Is any of this stuff that I really want? That I really, really want? I mean, I do kind of, but at the same time, no. Non-token creature dies. I guess that one. Yikes. Yikes and yikes. I guess let's go and take out Carrion. Let's go and take out the discard effect. Do we have any humans that come out of this? I don't think so. I think they're, well, I guess Golgari Thug does. And so does Reborn Hero, almost certainly. But most of the rest of these really aren't human-related stuff. So maybe I go ahead and just say, since we're not going to do humans, so we're going to go and take all of those out. Take all of them out of the running. And same for this one. I don't know that we're making a good deck here. I just want to be very, very clear on that point. Let's see, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ouch. Ouch, ouch. So Doomed Artisan is slow effect, so we'll say no. How many creatures do we even have right now? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Do we have more? Not in there. So yes, we have some creatures. We have some creatures in, a couple of creatures in here as well. Well, 3. Okay. Let me think about this. Is Genesis Chamber really going to help us? I don't think so. Let me go ahead and take that out. Whenever a creature dies, whenever non-creature token dies. So both of these are really good. Tombstone Stairwell could have a lot of creature. We could see a lot of creatures. Desecrated Tomb could also see a lot of creatures. Pana Ulamog makes tokens whenever we sacrifice stuff. Yeah, I think maybe these 6 and maybe we pick 3 over from here and then we do it. I want to put Reform in, but I don't know that I can fit it. It sucks. It really sucks. Let me think about this. If only 3 choices out of this. Oh no. We've had to take out so many cards, and I have not been appreciative of how many of those we've had to take out. How many like pet cards I would really like to include, but I can't based on just looking at what I have and what I need to fit in. We are absolutely very heavy Warsaw colors. me think about this. We're not punishing people too much for us sacrificing things. So maybe, does that mean we do this? We look at our removal here. Maybe we take out Waves of Reckoning. Since we have Martyr's Bond and Butcher Malik here for sure, then that will be good enough to cover what that Wrath effect would have covered, which leaves us one more card, which I think is Gift of Immortality, I think. I would like to be able to do a little bit more with having Ghoul Lich, and Ruthless Deathfang is really strong. I don't know. Grim Harvest, why are you way better than you have any right to be? Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this pile. Even though I have like all of these cards set aside, I'm going to keep the cards that I've already pulled for it. Oh, do you have some lag there? Interesting. I'm not seeing any problems on my side. I don't know. Okay, so let's count to make sure. So I have all of the cards still pulled out, and I'm probably going to leave them pulled out as I get to play this deck and see how good it is and see what changes I need to make. So it's definitely not set in stone at all. So 1, 2, 3. Yes, that is the correct amount. Okay, so after I kind of get the deck set aside card-wise, and I think I have more or less what I'm looking for, it's at this point that I always do a mana curve check. I want to see how good on the mana curve we are. So, and I do that just by laying out cards based on their converted mana cost, and that's it. So we're up like this. It's possible we have a little... I don't know, we're going to see. Let's see what it looks like first before making any judgment calls on it. So this is 5, 4, 5, 3. I think we're going to be okay, but we could be a little heavy, and that's what I'm concerned about. I want to be sure that we're doing good. 2, 2, 0 is way down here. I'm going to put so that I don't have to shuffle all this around later. This is 4. Yeah, when we get down to the actual, a lot of this stuff is like the removal and things. So once we get down to more of the creatures, we're definitely going to have a lot of bottom end stuff to put in. So let's see. Wait, no, that's not where it needs to be. Come on, come here. Come here, Ashen Ghoul. You jerk. Two. This is 4. 2. Yeah, this is looking a lot better now. I'm liking this part of it. We're definitely sitting around the 3 mark with this, which I'm happy to see. I'm happy to see that we're not at the top end. So, Commander here, let's move this stuff up a little bit so we have a little bit more space. We don't have too many more cards to go, but still. This is 4, 2, 2. In this case, with this, we may actually be able to pull out a little bit of our ramp and fit in another card or 2, I think. So we don't necessarily need 10 cards of ramp, which is what we pulled out originally. Let me think about this. 2 plains cards. I don't know, maybe we just see what this is like first of all, because a lot of ramp cards doesn't necessarily hurt us. It does mean that we could potentially get Chromium out a lot quicker. And we do have a little bit of upper end stuff that's black up here, just like pure black. So, I don't know, maybe it's okay. Maybe we see how this goes. Which does mean that let's go ahead and take a look at color costs so that we can determine how much of our land needs to be different sets. And we're still probably going to be pretty even anyway, but it's still good to look at. It's still good to kind of have an idea about how heavy we are on different colors. So let's see, here's black, blue, and white cards with colorless in the middle. So here's white and black and blue, black, white, black, black, white, black, right here, here in the center. Let's see. Up here, we're not going to have any blue, white, are we? I think we're extraordinarily heavy on the black side of this. Oh, we do have one. We have literally just one. Oh well. Okay, there we go. That's not too bad. So let's see. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 34. 34 mono black cards. Ouch. An 8 white. Oh my gosh, are we like 7 blue? Holy cow, we're actually way towards mono black. Way, way more. In fact, most of the white cards that we have aren't, you know, only 3 of the 8 use double white. And in here, we almost certainly have a number of cards. There's a double black, double black, double black. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards more that require 2 or more black symbols than we have cards that require blue symbols. So, wow. If we wanted to build this maybe with like the exactly perfect mana base, then we would take this into account. But like I said, since we're just building the deck and we're not exactly sure where we want to go, it's still pretty good to have a semi-even spread with your colors, just so that you can make sure that you're going to hit all of your colors for sure, especially because we do want to have the ability to cast Chromium when we need to cast Chromium as sort of our backup plan, and to get some of the discard effects if we need to get something into the graveyard. So yeah, let's look at the lands that I have pulled, and they're not going to be anything too special for this. A really good card that's going to be good for kind of graveyard shenanigan stuff is this Phyrexian Tower right here. Let me go ahead and pull that up real quick. Phyrexian Tower. Trying to type with one hand. There we go. That's the card that we're looking at right now. So this one, being able to sacrifice a creature to add 2 black mana to your mana pool, that's going to be really, really strong. So we definitely want that in our deck. But then otherwise, with our non-basic lands, here's all of our basic lands. So that one's a definitely must-have. Then we have a couple that tap for 2 different colors of mana. These can, well, this one taps for any color, one of any color mana. These can find basic lands of any type. And then we sort of have a slew of, well, let's see, Command Tower kind of goes over here. We have these 2 that aren't the bounce lands, but they do come into play and be able to tap for 2 different colors of mana. Now, looking at this, let's see. we don't need too many of these, but it might be good to go ahead and keep them like this. I think I'm going to go ahead and play with all of these non-basic lands. Even Mortuary's Mire over here, it only taps for black mana, but it does allow us to put a creature card from our graveyard on top of our library, so this could be good. So that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 cards here. We can use 38 lands. It's the number that we decided before. So that means 26 other lands. So if we try to split that evenly, that means that we're going to do... So 3 times 8 is 24. So we just need 2 more cards other than that. And I think they're almost certainly going to go into swamps. So basically what we'll do is we want, let's see, so 8 of each type of land. Here's 5, there's 8. Swamps get 2 extra ones, so we'll go ahead and grab. Do I have any more of those special ones? Yeah, we'll go and grab that one. This swamp will go over here. So we need 8 planes, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4... 5, 6, 7. Oh, we're short one. Okay, that's okay though. This goes up here, and then we'll do. There's 5, 6, 7, and 8 islands. So we're just need 1 more planes, and then we can actually sleeve this up and be able to play with this deck. So at least there's that. Let's see. I don't know if I may have a planes here. Hang on a second. Actually, hang on. What we can do is we do have these ones. We are playing Tithe, if I remember correctly. Let me go ahead and re-look through here. I'm pretty sure we're playing Tithe. Yeah, there we go. So this one searches for any kind of planes card. So what we could do here is we could grab both of the snow dual lands and use those as two planes that we can search for. So we can do these 2, which means that, let me think about this. So we said we needed 1 more planes. Let me go and grab a planes anyway. There we go. There's our last planes. I know they're not the same. That's just how I roll. I roll with whatever lands I have. So let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 38. 38. So we are at the correct amount of lands here. The question is, do we want to take out lands to be able to play this? So I think that I think we are going to take out Port Town here to be able to put in the glacial floodplain. Now, do we want to take out anything else? Honestly, the bounce lands aren't really doing us that much good, but I don't know, just kind of can't help playing. So let's go ahead and take out the Evolving Wilds, and we'll put in this Snowfield Sinkhole and call it good. Because I think that gets us, I mean, like, this Terramorphic Expanse, all they're getting is 1 of the basic lands. And we don't really, I mean, it's just another way to color fix here, so I'm kind of okay having a little bit more basic lands because it doesn't really hurt us, and it's easy to get away with a lot of basic lands. In fact, I do have some decks that perform pretty well only on basic lands, and I mean, I have 5 color decks that are primarily basic lands, and you do get stuck at times, but if you're not in a competitive environment, like a really competitive environment, then it's not that big of a deal to not have all of the best types of land possible. You can get away with a lot less. So, just play the lands that you have, really, and then improve when you can. And even if that means improving with lands that aren't ideal, like lands that just come into play tapped and they tap for 2 different colors and they don't do anything else, like there's nothing else special about them, those are still good. Those are still good lands. And good lands unless you're in a super competitive environment. So, okay, well, I think that kind of wraps it up for deck building this Aristocrats. Like I said, I'm probably not going to play it on Wednesday. I think I'm going to put aside the Plains Chase again. So I think I'm going to do Plains Chase semi-regularly, but not every... I don't want to necessarily do it every single week, because I do want to be able to allow decks to be able to perform as they are, and sometimes Plains Chase can get a little bit in the way of what a deck is trying to do, because they'll go in a different direction based on what they're getting from the Plains Chase cards, and the fact that we're making new cards based on Ask Urza abilities. Okay, so let me think if there's anything else. Lolhai, thank you for coming in today. I think we're going to go and wrap up. If there's anything you want to ask, though, I'm really happy to stick around for a little bit and we can talk about anything. Like I said, any one of the decks that you already have. So you have the 2 precons, the blue-green token, well, kind of tokens and copy effects stuff, and then you have the vampire one, and you have an Aristocrats build, I think is what you said. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. All right. So let me think what I'm trying to think of what I could do on Wednesday. I think I'm just going to have to go through my deck lists and think about a good battle. Maybe I guess I could do 2-color dragon decks. I haven't done that yet. I did 4 different 5-color dragon decks a couple of weeks ago. Or was that last week? No, that wasn't last week, because I did chaos decks last week, or chaos-ish decks. So I think that means that 2-color dragon decks might be fun. But I'll have to see if I can get away with not doing Rakdos, Lord of Riots. He's my Rakdos colored dragon build, and I've played that one a few times now, so I want to lean away from it if I can. But all right, well, thank you all for watching. I'm gonna go and close up the stream here. I don't have anybody to raid, so we'll just close the stream, and I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for watching.